Welcome to the 2021 virtual convention. This session is part of the convention breakout program. Please note, this session will be recorded. You can protect your identity by limiting your participation in the chat and Q&A. Session recordings will be available within 24 to 48 hours after the session. When you enter a session using a desktop or laptop computer, you will be able to select your language on the left side of the page. Choose your language by selecting from the drop-down box. For English speakers, you will need to select English from the available languages in order to listen to the session in English. You will also need to mute the audio in the media player to prevent hearing two audio sources. The mute button can be found in the bottom left corner of your video box. Please note, if you use a mobile device, a smartphone or tablet, you will need to download a special app on your device to access the interpretation. Then you will need to enter the Interprify token included in the session description or abstract and enter the token in the app. You will have the option to use the questions and answers tab and the chat tab, which you can see at the bottom of your screen. There are a lot of attendees on this breakout, and we need to manage the flow of comments and questions. Chats and questions are welcome from all participants. Please use the chat tab for comments and general discussion. If you have a specific question for the panelists about the content, or during the designated Q&A period of the breakout, use the Q&A tab. We will try to answer as many questions as possible, but we cannot guarantee that all questions will be answered given the number of people in attendance. Now, please enjoy your session. Welcome to the 2021 virtual convention. This session is part of the convention breakout program. Please note, this session will be recorded. You can protect your identity by limiting your participation in the chat and Q&A. Session recordings will be available within 24 to 48 hours after the session. When you enter a session using a desktop or laptop computer, you will be able to select your language on the left side of the page. Choose your language by selecting from the drop-down box. For English speakers, you will need to select English from the available languages in order to listen to the session in English. You will also need to mute the audio.
大家好，我是 Nelly， 我是今天的分组讨论引言人。那今天呢，我们的主题是捐款是艺术，用钱是技术。那今天的分享人呢，都是非常优秀的扶轮领导人，那同时也都是 AKS member。首先呢，我们的第一个议题是由前 EMGA PDG Henry 为我们介绍什么是扶轮基金，如何设定目标，以及如何鼓励舍友捐赠。第二个题目呢，是由我们的
Before we get started, I want you to take a moment to look at the slide that on your screen in the ladder. Sort of evaluate where you're currently at. Think about a previous youth-adult partnership experience or one you might be even doing right now. Think about what role did you play? What role
Tienen
did
que
young people
pensar
play?
en qué
And how can
papel
that
cumplen los
be
jóvenes
used to
y cómo se puede
create
utilizar
new
todo
conversations
esto
about
para
how to
crear nuevas
increase where you're
conversaciones,
at on the ladder?
diálogos en
And
cuanto en
this
qué
isn't
escalón
a form of
está de la
judging anyone,
escalera,
it's just an
¿no? Y
examination
por
of where you're
supuesto que no
currently at.
podemos juzgar a nadie, sino solamente un análisis en qué
Give
etapa
you a
se
couple
encuentran
moments for
o en qué nivel.
moving right on. These
Muy
first
bien,
three
entonces estos primeros
These first three groups
escalones
of ladders are categorized as the
se
rungs where
categorizan
youth are seen as objects. There really is no youth voice at this
situaciones de
stage.
los jóvenes
The
realmente
first
son
rung is
objetos, ¿verdad?
manipulation, and at this
El
rung, young
primero
people are
es
expected to follow
manipulación
directions without really
y se
asking
espera
any
que los
questions or
jóvenes sigan
thinking
las
critically. They're
instrucciones
told
sin
where to go
cuestionar
and what to
nada ni
do.
pensar
And for
de
example,
manera
this is
crítica. Por
usually
ejemplo, por lo
this
general,
can be one of the approaches that teachers
esto
use in
puede ser
classrooms,
uno de los
especially when
enfoques
there's a
que los
lot of
maestros utilizan en
guidelines
el
that have to be
aula,
followed and
sobre
goals
todo
that have to
cuando
be
hay
reached.
muchas direcciones,
Young
objetivos
people
que se
aren't
tienen que
really
lograr.
given a voice or
Los
a chance
jóvenes
to
en
express
realidad no
themselves.
le dan
The
una
second rung
opción de
is decoration.
expresarse
And at this level, young
de
people
cuestionar,
understand
¿no?
the purpose
Y
of what they're
la
doing,
próxima
but they're
es la
still expected to
declaración. Los
follow
chicos entienden el
without
propósito de lo que están
asking any
haciendo, pero
questions.
así todo no
And for an
cuestionan ni hacen
example of this
ninguna
is
pregunta.
internships. Oftentimes, when young
Un
people get internships,
ejemplo
they're
son
given
las
a
pasantías. Cuando
checklist
los
with very
jóvenes son
little
pasantes,
collaboration or
les
working with
dan ahí
the
una
adults or
lista
higher ups in the program, and
y
they just
ellos
complete their
tienen que hacer
checklist.
todo
If
lo
it's a
que
paid
los
one, collect their
pasos que
check and
están
leave.
ahí,
And they don't really get any of the
hacen una
benefits
marca
of
cuando
that
terminan cada
opportunity
actividad,
of
pero
young
sin
people and
embargo no
adults
se
working in the same
benefician
space.
de esta oportunidad de que adultos y
And
jóvenes
the
trabajen
third
en el
rung
mismo
is
espacio.
tokenism.
Y
At this level, young
el
people, they're not
próximo
quite
escalón es
passive,
el
but they're still
tokenismo, la
also not
participación
having a
simbólica.
chance to use their
No,
voice.
los chicos
They have
todavía no
little or no
tienen
opportunity to formulate their own
oportunidad de
opinions and
usar su
ideas,
voz,
and
no
this
le
is
dan
still
oportunidades
also
para formular sus opiniones e
where
ideas.
young people are
Y
expected to follow directions.
También se espera
A
que los
good
jóvenes
example
sigan
of
las
this is in
instrucciones.
school
Un
clubs or
ejemplo
honor
de esto son los
organizations
clubes
where young
escolares,
people
las
where
organizaciones
adults
donde
want to
los
celebrate young
jóvenes,
people and
o
their
mejor dicho,
accomplishments, but they
los
do it by
adultos
setting
quieren
the
celebrar
young
los
people up
logros
for
de los
success and
jóvenes
nothing else.
y
There's no room for
los
growth, there's
preparan
no room for
solamente para
learning
el
any new
éxito, pero no
information,
para el
and it's
crecimiento,
really
para
just a
tener
way to celebrate
información
young
nueva,
people
sino
without celebrating
solamente es
any
una
of the
manera
work
de
it takes to
celebrar a
get
los
there.
jóvenes sin
And I'll pass it to
pensar
Julie
en
to
los
tell us about the
pasos que
next
se
few rounds.
necesitan para llegar
Thank you,
a
Zara.
ese
And
punto.
Zara, to me, she is my
Y
go-to
Sara,
gal to help
ella es
me
la persona a la quien
understand
yo
these
recurro cuando yo
rungs.
necesito
What I
que me
learned as an
expliquen
adult
estos
in the
escalones,
youth
¿no?
development
Y
field for
lo
over
que yo
40 years
aprendí,
is
que he
that young
estado en el
people
campo del
bring
desarrollo
something
de
to
los
the
jóvenes por
table
más de
that
40
unless
años,
we
es que los
tap
chicos
into,
sí
we're
traen algo
losing
de valor
a
a la
great
mesa, ¿no?
resource. So
Y
these
si no lo
next
hacemos,
four
estamos
rungs
perdiendo
of the
un gran
ladder is
valor.
where we
Y
talk
estos
about
escalones que tenemos
students
acá, o
as
peldaños,
recipients rather
es
than
cuando los
objects.
estudiantes
We call
son
this rung
los
assigned
receptores
but
y
informed. This is
se
where
les
many
asigna y
advisors
están
and teachers
informados.
may land when they think
Y es
they're
ahí
engaging
donde los
students. But we're
consejeros
here to
y
say
los
that there may be
profesores
ways to
hacen, ¿no?
engage deeper. At
Pero
this
por supuesto
point,
que ellos
young
deben
people are
involucrarse más
assigned a
profundamente.
specific role and
Por ejemplo,
informed
se les
about how and
asigna
why
una
they're
función
being involved.
específica y se les
They
informa
understand the
qué es lo que tienen que
purpose,
hacer.
but
Ellos
they didn't
comprenden
plan
la
the activity.
intención,
And
pero ellos no planifican la
it's
actividad en
assigned
sí.
and they're actively
Y
participating.
ellos están participando
There might be
activamente.
some exchange,
Quizás
but it's
haya
really
cierto
still the adults
intercambio,
leading the
pero
activity
todavía
or
son
leading
los
the
adultos
task.
los que
At this point,
dirigen la
at
tarea o
this
la
rung,
actividad.
the adults
Y
consider
en
students'
este
interest in their
peldaño,
learning styles,
entonces,
yet the decisions are made. without youth input.
Progresan
An
en los
example
estilos
of
de
this,
aprendizaje
there
de
was
los
a great
estudiantes, pero no
example
tienen
in Hart's
ellos
work where he
ningún
talked
feedback,
about young
¿no?
people
Y hay un
participating as
ejemplo donde los
ushers
chicos
at the UN World
participan
Summit for
como
Children. What an opportunity.
ujieres,
A
perdón,
young person
en
was
una
assigned to
cumbre
each of the
mundial, que es una
presidents
gran
and the prime
oportunidad. Así
ministers,
que un
taking
ujier
on
se
both
le
a
asignó a cada
functional and a
presidente y al
symbolic
primer
role.
ministro,
In this role, the
ahí
young person became an
ejerció
expert on the UN
un
building and the event,
rol
making sure that the
tanto
leader was
funcional
shown to the
como
right place
también
at the right
práctico,
time.
¿no? Así
But
que
there
ellos
wasn't an opportunity
aprendieron
for the
qué
young person
hacer,
to
cómo
represent
dirigirse, en
the
qué momento,
viewpoints
pero no
of their
hubo
peers
oportunidad para que
at
los
the
chicos
summit.
puedan
Now
representar
remember,
los
this
puntos
we're
de
not saying that
vista
these
de sus
rungs are bad.
compañeros.
We're just
Y por
saying
supuesto
this
no
is
estamos
where
diciendo que estos
sometimes we land and
peldaños
there's an
están
opportunity to go
equivocados,
deeper.
pero no,
Our
sino que
role as
tenemos que
mentors,
analizar
advisors, is
esto
to
más
support young
profundamente.
people
Nosotros
to
como
build the
mentores tenemos
skills
que
that
apoyar a los
partnership is
chicos
allowing.
para que ellos puedan
Now, the fifth
desarrollar
rung,
las
we call
destrezas
that
necesarias para tener
consulted and
esta
informed.
asociación. Y
Young
el
people
otro
give
es
advice on
consultado
projects
e
or
informado, se
programs
les
and the
da
design,
asesoría
but it's still
sobre
run
los
by adults.
programas y
Young people
proyectos que
are
designan, pero
informed,
todavía son
but they don't have
liderados
any
por los
voice in the
adultos. Se
design.
les
Their
informa, pero
opinions
no
are
tienen
invited
ninguna
and listened
opinión
to, but
en el
no
diseño.
no
Se les
voice in
escucha
design.
quizás, pero no tienen esa
The
voz,
adults
¿no? Para
at
hacer
this
el
point still
diseño.
design
En
the
este
activities or the
momento,
projects.
los
They're
adultos todavía están
considering
a
the youth
cargo de la
advice and the youth
preparación de
voice.
las actividades, ¿no?
An example of this
Un ejemplo de esto bien podría
might be
ser
an adult-led survey of youth
una
perceptions,
encuesta
in which the
dirigida por
youth
los
are
adultos en
informed
cuanto a
about
las
the purpose
percepciones
of
de
the
los
survey
jóvenes,
and
cuando se le
consulted
informa a
about
ellos cuál
appropriate
es el
questions
propósito y
before
se le
it's
consulta
developed.
quizás cuáles
They're
son
given an
las
opportunity
preguntas
to
o el
provide
cuestionario
feedback on the final
apropiado.
survey before it's administered,
Pero
but they
no
really weren't part of the
aunque
why
tienen
behind the
la
survey.
oportunidad de dar
We're
feedback,
next going to
pero
talk
no se
about
le consultaron en la
the final 3
elaboración de la
rungs of the
encuesta.
ladder,
Y
where
los
Zara is going to
3
tell you
últimos
a little bit more
peldaños
where
de esta
students are
escalera,
seen as
y después
resources.
vamos a ver en
Absolutely.
cuál
Thank you,
de
Julie.
ellos es que se considera a
These
los
3 rungs
estudiantes como
are where we're
recursos.
really trying to
Sí.
land at.
Y
This is
nosotros
where we
queremos
want to be
llegar
when
a
it
estos
comes to
3,
youth
por
adult
supuesto,
partnerships. There's a lot
cuando
of youth
hablamos
voice
de
involved
esta
in these steps while
asociación,
still
porque
having
los chicos
that adult
están
guidance and adults as
involucrados,
resources.
aunque todavía
And
tienen la dirección
really,
de
this
un
is where we
adulto,
see those
y
2
es
groups coming
ahí
together to
cuando
do their
estos
best
2
work.
grupos
The
trabajan
first rung
juntos
on
para
this
lograr
is rung 6, and this
los
is
mejores
adult-initiated and shared
resultados.
decisions with
Y el
young people. These are
El
projects
número
and
8
programs that are
son
initiated by adults,
programas
but
que son
a lot of
iniciados
decision
por
making
los
is shared
adultos,
with
pero
young
mucho
people.
de que
At
las
this stage, young
decisiones
people
son
understand what's
compartidas
going
con los
on in the
jóvenes, los
planning and
chicos
the
entienden
implementing
qué es
at
lo
the
que está
activity.
pasando en la
They provide
planificación
input
y la
and
implementación
opinions,
de la
but they're
actividad, dan
still
su
not the ones
feedback
that
y
are
opiniones,
initiating the
pero
activity.
no
They're
son
still
los
not
que
the ones that are
inician
recognizing
propiamente
the
la
problem and
actividad,
the
no
issue
son
that
los
needs to
que
be addressed through this
determinan el
program.
problema ni el asunto
And a
que
great
deben
example of
abordarse
this
con este
is
programa. Y un buen
community
ejemplo
service
de esto
leadership
es
councils.
son los
Adults
consejos de
direct activities and
liderazgo
create resources and
juveniles,
plans,
los
and they use
adultos
input that,
elaboran
like
los
from
planes y
previous years that were
recursos
collected by students. The students
con
perform their own service and evaluate and
feedback
contribute
que
to
se
the next
dieron los
year's
chicos
curriculum.
en
But once
años
again, young people
anteriores,
aren't
¿no?
deciding
Y que se van a
what it
utilizar
is
en el
that they
próximo
want to be
currículo,
creating change
pero aún
around.
así los chicos
And
no
this is
son los que
also
deciden
often
qué
the case
cambios
with
desean
after-school
ver.
programs,
Y, por
where
ejemplo, esto se
there's
ve
less
mucho
participant
en los
continuity
programas
than adult facilitator
extracurriculares,
continuity. So the adults are
que hay
around for much longer than the
continuidad
young
y
people, and
los
they really see it as a big
adultos son
picture.
los que dirigen,
But then
ellos
it
ven
takes
una
away
gran
from the
visión,
young person's
pero los
individual
jóvenes
experience, and they
no
get sort of
tienen
lumped
cabida
together.
con su experiencia individual.
The next rung is rung 7,
Y
and this
el
is
próximo
young
peldaño
people
es el
initiated and
7 y
directed.
son los
And
jóvenes
there's
que
a bit of
inician y
controversy around
dirigen las
why this rung
actividades.
is
Hay
so
un poco
high
de
up, but I think you'll agree
polémica
that
porque
it deserves to be
el
there just
peldaño
for the
está
amount
tan
of youth
alto,
voice
pero
in it.
tiene que estar
This
ahí
rung
para
is
darle
when
voz a
young
los
people
jóvenes.
initiate and
Este
direct a
peldaño
project and
es
program
cuando
entirely by themselves.
los
Very
chicos
little input
inician
or
y
support
dirigen
from
un
adults.
programa en su
Um,
totalidad, con
Hart
muy
places
poca
this
ayuda
second on the
de
ladder because
los
occasionally
adultos. Y
young
esto
people
está
really don't adults to seek their input or their help.
los
The
jóvenes
caution with
no
this
tienen
rung
mucha
is in
confianza en
young
los
people carrying out
adultos, ¿no?
projects in
Y
secret
los
because they
jóvenes
fear
a
adults are
veces
intimidated by adults
secretamente
sort of
realizan
swooping in
estos
and taking
programas.
their project from them. At this stage, young people really, again, do everything. They pick out what activity they're going to do, they plan for it, they do their own reflection, and they do the action
reflexionan
without
sobre esto y
any
también
adult
toman
input.
acción sin
At this
ninguna
rung, youth voice is
intervención
seen
de los
as more
adultos.
important
Y
than
en
the
este
partnership
punto,
as
por
a whole.
supuesto, que la voz de los chicos son mucho
Lastly,
más
there's the
importante
rung
que
8,
esa
which is young
asociación con
people
los
initiated
adultos.
and shared
Y el
decisions with
próximo
adults.
es el
This is
peldaño
the
8
top
de
rung.
que
This is where projects or
las
programs are
actividades son
initiated by young
iniciadas
people and
por
the decision
los
making and
chicos
planning
y las
process is done
decisión
with
y la
both young people and
planificación
adults
se hace
sharing the amount
conjuntamente
of
entre los
influence or
adultos
decision
y
making
los
in the
jóvenes. Y por
project.
supuesto,
These
ellos
projects
comparten
empower
esta
young people
función.
while
Esos son
enabling
los
them to
proyectos que
access and
empoderan a
learn from
los
the life
jóvenes y por
experiences
supuesto
and expertise of
ellos pueden
adults.
aprender de sus experiencias y también ganar
At this rung, young people,
y
they're the ones who
desarrollar
determine the ideas for the
otras
activity. They're the ones who determine what wants to be
destrezas.
done, and they
Así que los
implement it,
jóvenes
but then
determinan
that
qué es lo que
reflection
quieren
and that
hacer
planning and those resources are
y
done
las
in tandem with
implementan.
adults.
Y todos estos
An
recursos,
example
sin
of this
embargo,
is
y
our
cómo
own
se va a
Youth Advisory
realizar, se hace
Council
mano a
and a
mano con
project that
los
we have done called
adultos.
Youth for Education,
Nosotros en el
where we
Consejo
paired young people
Juvenil
up with
hemos
adults
hecho un
in their
proyecto que
community who
nosotros
had
juntamos como
like-minded
pares
ideas to come up
a
with a
los
service
adultos
learning project, a project that used the service learning process, I should say, that would
dice este
benefit an issue that
presupuesto
the young
y
people would
el
find in their
beneficio
community.
es que los jóvenes
And
van
the
a
reason
trabajar
that
en sus
I
comunidades.
think that our Youth for Education really fits into this rung is because
Y yo
of
creo
that
que
level of youth
esto
voice. When I
es
implemented it into
necesario
my
ya
own
que le
school, I
dan
really
un
felt like there
nivel
was a
más
lot of
alto
input from
a
students all throughout the
las
entire project,
opiniones
and there was
de los
helpful
jóvenes.
support
Yo
from
cuando
both
participé en
Julie and
estos
Amy at
proyectos, nosotros
NYLC, but
también
also from my own
contábamos
teachers and staff at the school.
con el apoyo de Julie y
And
también
I'll
con mis
pass it to
propios
Julie to
profesores
wrap
en
up
la
Heart's
escuela.
Ladder.
Así que ahora, Julie.
Thank you, Sarah. You can tell
Muchísimas
how we
gracias.
get
Y ustedes
excited
pueden ver
about
cómo
this
nosotros estamos
this
tan
idea of
emocionados
partnering
con
with
toda
each
esta
other because
idea
we both bring
de
something
trabajar
different to the
conjuntamente,
table.
porque ambos
I'd like to
ofrecemos
spend
diversas
a little
perspectivas.